Guys, gals, and Ambi pals, welcome to the second part of my interview with Andy Robison from Ihlo. I'm saying it properly now because I said Ihlo before and it's not Ihlo, and you know, he punished me remorselessly between these takes.
You got a whipping.
The real scars are the friends we made along the... I don't know where this is going. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll be together forever now through the pain and suffering.
Ow. Anyway, we're gonna head into the first track. The first track is Hollow, and for me, this song, I actually really love this song. I think this is my favorite song of you guys, and that is also because of Dario's laminated meme of the part halfway. I'm never gonna forget it, but at the same time, that is one of those vocal performances that made me go like, okay, now I'm jealous. I mean, I love it, but fuck, I'm jealous. I wish I could do that. Fuck.
Yeah, well, I wish I could too. I wish I could do that consistently, I guess. It's one of those things where it comes to, you know, training and working on yourself and stuff. I'll get there eventually, but for now, yeah. It's there. It's on the album and it sounded good. I did it on the album. There you go.
But you've done it live multiple times, right? But is this just one of those moments in which you're like, please, body, be on my side?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That is completely
fair. We
fair.
played it a small handful of times, but it's just, I guess, because like you were talking about the long continuous. That's kind of what it is, but it's such a high pitch, and I kind of shoot myself in the foot for two reasons. One, the legitimate reason is that I just play weird chords, and I'm not a very good keyboard player, like while I'm singing. So I'm focusing on not fucking those up.
There you go.
The second reason is I'm just not practicing enough.
Fuck. Dude, come on.
So, you know, that would probably help to eliminate not playing the right chords, because I'd be practicing them, and then I would also be more confident in my projection.
To be, it is about projection and rehearsal, but at the same time, this is coming from a guy like, we have a gig coming up soon, and I'm now doing my daily vocal routine. Like, I have a 15-minute vocal routine I do every day. I try to sing all the songs a few times a week, you know, so, or at least the songs that are the hardest, so that I have those in my system.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like there's always a part of it that's just your body. Like, you know, if your body on that day decides to be like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it, man, then...
Yeah, and you can force of will, you can power through. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's fine. It's fine. That's what the album's about.
And at the end of the day, it's also just live. I feel that if people are understanding of the live playing experience, then they'll be able to... they'll also be able to forgive you if you might not hit it as perfect as you did on the album, but the intensity is still there.
Yeah.
You know?
So on that note, go watch our PROGPOWER official live bootleg that's on our YouTube channel right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because
you can leave a comment on this video or that video saying whether I should have practiced more.
There you go. Yes. I feel that is a really good call to action. I approve of that. Also, for those of you, we were talking about memes earlier. Every time that I'm leaning there, I'm pushing a button on my Stream Deck, and the button is an image from The Room, which says, "Oh, hi, Mark," because I'm making a marker, and it's meant to help me realize that this is the thing I'm gonna post on the socials.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So this is going to haunt you. But seriously though, like, we were talking about this in the first episode. We're obviously recording those in sequence, and we weren't sure if it was gonna be out then, but it will be out now, and you guys should check it out. I saw that show live and I loved it, so there you go. Check it. It's good for you. And for your brown chakra, I think. I guess.
It's different colors? Okay.
Yeah, apparently it does. I don't know. I gotta be honest that I'm just throwing out brown chakra, and some spiritual people got really pissed off, and that encouraged me to do it more.
You've ticked off the whole spiritual community on YouTube now, Tom.
Yes, it's perfect.
This video is gonna get 300 dislikes.
That would be great, because then I'm actually getting more traction than ever, so I would be so up for that.
Let's go!
Let's go, bitches! Yes, awesome. Now that we were not talking about Hollow, we are gonna get back to that, because besides that vocal note, and that part obviously stands out. So you're saying the first couple of songs were from the original EP storyline thing that you were talking about, but this was not.
No.
So what prompted that? Like, how did that start out?
Yeah, I think Hollow was the last song that was properly written, like from scratch, like it wasn't in any form or anything. And this song was demoed by me at what is probably one of like the worst periods of my entire life. And I think that comes through good job, me, on tapping into my emotions, which were incredibly bad and not good.
There's like mountains of melancholy. It's like
yes.
It's so melancholic to me, at least. It's like that's what it sounds like. It's like there's a lot of longing, but it's almost like a non-specific longing in a way.
I think just clearing out the pipes of sludge at that time, like 2017, when this album was really being written, there was a lot of different things that happened for me in that year. How I was discovering life as an adult, how I was engaging with people, communicating with others and everything, how life was throwing curveballs at me, how I was handling it. I didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with it at the time. It was very overwhelming. The last interview that I did a couple of years ago, I was like, maybe one day I'll be okay to talk about it, and I'm kind of still not. So that's fine.
You don't have to dive into the specifics, but it's like...
Yeah.
And I've repeated this on videos and on stream many times, and I'm willing to repeat this until the end of time. It's like, we live our life through our head. And if your head is not in the right place, then that's going to affect your life. Like, no amount of rational thinking will completely push that away.
Exactly. And there was just a lot of like things that were happening that I didn't know how to deal with, and the only way to get it out was by writing sad music, you know. And the lyrics and the vocals came a little bit later, but no matter what I did, I could never escape the bubble that I was in that environment when I was initially writing the song during the cold winter months of 2017.
It was there, and it just needed to happen, perhaps, because you were there.
I think so. I wrote a really shitty demo for it. Phil scooped it up. He was my big bird at the time. He scooped me up. He's like, "It's okay, I'm gonna take care of you," and he made it into a really good heavy song.
Did he say it with a voice like that as well? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what he came to my house. He scooped me up and he said, "It's okay, little birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, little birdie."
And you were like, "Chill." I love this.
What is this, compassion for me? My feelings? I don't believe it.
There is no space for that in this world.
How dare you? And then he put it together into a demo, as he does. He sometimes struggles to interpret my demos because my demos are just chaos. Just like the worst MIDI sounds that you could imagine.
Oh my God.
He translated it into something beautiful. We established the dynamics again, you know, the big, the loud, the soft, and the scrungly, and all this stuff. And it turned into a very emotionally gripping song.
It is. It absolutely is, yes. Okay, then we are going to head into the next track, and the next track is called Triumph, and I hope that after, exactly, it's like, I hope that this would be a bit of an upturn, or at least that's the vibe that I was getting, but maybe I'm completely wrong.
So Triumph, musically, was another demo that Phil had. Actually, it was a song that he had previously released. You can search Phil Monroe Omega, I think, like the thing you get from fish, Omega-3. This was Omega-1, just Omega.
Okay, that's good to know. But
you're gonna hear like an old ratty version of this song with no vocals and some different.
And to this day, there's a bunch of archaeologists searching in the Andes mountains for Omega-2, and they still haven't found it. You know, it's gruesome.
Omega-2.
We found it. But seriously though, okay, so that song was already there, and then did you hear it and were you like, we should add vocals to this, or how did that go?
Yeah, I'd heard the song when he'd put that EP out initially, which was like a year prior or something, and I was like, this is a good song, why don't we use this song and we'll add some cool vocals and some more synths and stuff, and it will just be really cool, and it's just an extra element that the album needed.
Yeah, because I do like the way it slots into the record. It fits the style, but it's slightly different in a way, but that's also kind of good. Especially after Hollow being as intense as it is, it's kind of nice to have a bit of a palate cleanser, so to speak.
And it works really well for that, like, you know, tonally, emotionally,
And what was the triumph you were trying to describe in your lyrics? What was that? You don't have to Google your own lyrics this time, but what was it you were...
Oh, I got them at the start of everyone. I'm Googling them just for a refresher. But this song is called Triumph because Devin Townsend has a song called Triumph, and the vocals sound like Devin Townsend. I'm a massive Devin Townsend fan. So I think I just kind of
me too.
Yeah, I think I just like sort of pulled it a little bit, and then I was like, this just really sounds like Devin Townsend, and Clark was like, there's a little bit of Devin Townsend, yeah. So I wanted to reference it, to nod to it, because he has a song called Triumph from the album Synkestra, which was released in 2006.
Yeah, I have it actually. I have the bonus edition with the live DVD because that has.
Fuck yeah!
In my opinion, that is still like if we're Devin nerding anyway now. I feel that the best version of Life, the song Life, is on that live DVD actually. That was. Yeah, because in a weird way, it's like it's not about the perfect performance because he did better performances in terms of executing it. But I think that version has a certain rawness because he was still in that.
Yeah,
you could notice that he was singing something hopeful, even though he wasn't entirely at the most hopeful place himself. And in a weird way, that goes into one another, and I feel it. I just feel that version really a lot in that regard.
I think it all came together. You know, it sounds very triumphant. It's a funny reference because why not? We all know the big bald man loves to do that kind of shit as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm sure
absolutely.
He'll give it a stamp of approval as well.
Oh yeah, he probably would be the last to mind. Let's face it. We're heading into track number 6, which is and you said it before, Parhelion. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah,
Parhelion,
I believe.
I got the impression like, oh, we're doing the 2 most proggy tracks at the end. Is that a good assessment, or do you feel differently about that?
No, there wasn't really any feeling of like, oh well, these have to go at the end because it's like proggy or anything like that. It's just like it just felt right. I don't know. I don't actually really have any strong recollection about how the order came together.
Well, it could also have come together by accident, which it works. So hey, whatever. You know, if it works, it works.
There probably was some. You know, you don't have like the conceptual thing where it's like, well, this part of the story he does this, he does that. So.
No, but I mean,
I think it was more just how it sort of ebbs and flows musically.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like you can feel it out, and I feel that there's nothing wrong with putting the epics at the end, for example. Like saying we're gonna put 2 longer tracks at the end because that's the logical conclusion to the record in that regard. But what was Parhelion like for you in terms of what was it about?
Okay, no, I know this one. I know this one. I was really happy with the lyric writing on this one, actually.
Okay.
I wrote quite a few of these lyrics in the studio as I was recording the vocals because I'm one of those people that goes like, you know, like that.
You have a doobie-doo-bah demo, basically.
A doobie-doo-bah demo, and like it used to be back in the day, I would like meow, just be like meow, 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 because it was fun.
Why didn't I think of that? Now I want to meow my demos. Fuck, that's awesome.
It's very fun. It keeps you happy while you're doing it. Write that down. Write that down.
I am so going to meow the next demos for my next record. Like now I'm gonna do that.
Meow,
that's great.
Meow, meow, meow. Maybe I need to get back into it.
You know, like really go for the longer meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow! You know, like really going hard. Yeah.
Power meow tool. That's what I was still doing when I kind of got to the studio, and by that point, I'd tracked other parts of the album. I knew lyrics for the album, so I knew what the theme was. I knew that I was sad and alone, and things were so woe is me and everything and all that. So I had a better idea of what I was writing. So I wrote better lyrics for this one, which are about, let me see, paradigm controlling me, systematic sharp refrain. It's like, there's like a thing that's happening, there's like a system, and
you are going full Jeff Goldblum now. It's like
keep
a
pulling
system.
away.
It's like
pulling away from it and stuff, and there's all these like things and everything, and it's basically about trying to unlock the better version of yourself, I think, and just fucking get over it. Just stop complaining, because the whole album's you're just being a fucking crybaby. Shut up. Just like
crybaby, you had something to get out of your system. Shit's hard.
Yeah. You had sad things, And there's good ways to get that off your chest, but you need to do something about it, I think, is what I was kind of talking about. And go fucking therapy, you know?
Stop making this record and go to fucking therapy. Oh my god.
You know, in some ways, making the album was like a therapy for us.
Yes,
you know?
of course it was.
That's the snippet from every interview.
Yeah, no. And now you gotta say you're going back to your roots, and that this is your most album ever based on what marketing says you should put in that place.
We're going back to our roots for this one. So this album, next album, Union, it's going back to the roots. It's going to be the most Union album that we've written since Union. Yeah. So I apologize if I've offended anybody with that accent.
You literally just did like every late 70s rock documentary about a big band that anyone has ever seen right there. It's like...
This one was another instrumental that Phil had written. Mm-hmm. You can YouTube it if you want to. It's called Dystopia. I don't really have much to say about this one because Phil just wrote this song like before I knew him. No, this was the song actually that he sent to me, and he was like, "Hey, let's work together and stuff."
So this really was like the connecting the moment that you actually got interested. So in a sense, that is important then.
Yeah. Just like Triumph, we shined it up. We added some vocals to it. The vocals were really difficult to add to this. To like sort of jump back to when we were talking about like the odd timing, writing vocals over like odd meters and stuff. Like the way the stabs happen are really weird. I didn't understand how to get the jank. So I was literally like in the studio like shouting. There was one point where I was just like, "Paradigm controlling me," and it was just like that. And the guy Thorfinn who was engineering it was just like, "That ain't so good, man. That ain't so good." And I was like, "Yeah, well, we'll come back again later, I guess."
No, but I get it, though. Sometimes weirdly enough, you need bum takes sometimes as well. Like, you gotta try something, and then it's like, well, that wasn't it. And then you just let it go for a few days, you listen to it with fresh ears, and suddenly you have it in one go. You know, that's also normal.
That's important to do, is like taking that space and stuff. Because I recorded the first like chorus, the whole "take away the heart of something that you hate" stuff. I took that, I was listening through to the recording that I did once I went home, and the whole entire ending section, the whole rising build and stuff after the space out stuff, there was no vocals there at all.
Okay.
And just in my head, for some reason, I was like, what if I copy pasted that part? Literally copy pasted it. Put it on here, would that sound cool? And it did, and it made like a sort of closing chorus, like a closing statement.
Yeah, it actually,
and stuff.
You know, it's a bit like a Lebowski thing, like it just tied the room together, man. But it's like it tied the song together, man. Like it makes sense, yeah.
And it pulled the album together as well. You'll be home again. You're finding your home. You know, you're finding a safe place to be with yourself, with your others, with your bandmates. With your copy of Union by Ihlo, which you can buy on all platforms now.
Oh my god, we don't need a sponsorship message for this video. Like we've already put so much subliminal messaging in this fucking interview. It's great. And then we're heading into the final track, the big one, the big kahuna on this record, Coalescence. And obviously, you cannot be a progressive metal band without having a 10+ minute epic on your record. Like it's against the Geneva Conventions not to do that. Was this something that was already there? Or was this something you guys worked on together? How did that come about?
Yeah, this was a collaborative effort. It's a long song, so it was kind of stitched together from sort of different bits, right? I think the first seed for it was the ending. I wrote it on guitar, shoved it into FL Studio, added some MIDI and some drums and stuff, and this whole big ending rising section went into the demo bin for a long time. A long time.
Okay.
And then we had another demo, which was like the intro, and that went into the demo bin for a very long time. And then at some point, they all just started being smooshed together into this big FL Studio file that was just called long.mp3 or whatever. It was literally just called long.
Yeah, like, long. Okay, this is a long thing and we like what this is, but we're not entirely sure what it is yet. Like, like that. Yeah.
Chorus went through so many iterations and stuff. It was just a fucking pain in the ass to get this one because writing a long song sucks. But yeah, it was probably the collaboration of over a year, I think, to write this one.
Wow.
Back and forth, and then getting the right sounds and the elements and everything. Phil especially spent a long time trying to get the ending section to continue to build and to rise through what he was doing with the production. Because if you were to hear all the layers that are put into that, like from the stems and stuff, it's just, there's like hundreds of like weird synths and stuff in there that just build and build and build and creating this huge explosion and stuff. And yeah, Phil did a good job of pulling that together. I want to shout out my brother Phil. Can't be here tonight.
Yeah, it's like, Phil, you're a legend, and well done. No, but it's like, I get it though, because you can hear it. There's a few sections in this song that it really feels like there's undercurrents you cannot hear, but you can't feel them. And that's all the layers that are probably stacked beneath it to create. It's like, I am also very much a believer of when you're doing production, like even if it's the tiniest thing ever that you're adding, it will add to the overall experience because there's things that we subconsciously hear. So those extra layers of synths might not be immediately apparent, but when you remove them, it will sound empty, you know, like that kind of situation.
The whole album's like that. There's like mad layers across the whole thing. You take them out, just sounds a little bit strange.
It's probably still good, but not as good as when it's there. Like
yeah, it's the special sauce.
Right. You know? Yeah, I feel that that's a pretty good description of the sound of this record in general. Like in general, I was very impressed with how it all came together. When I heard this, I mostly just felt like it was very warm, like an incredibly warm record.
Yeah.
Was that something you guys deliberately aimed for, or was that something that just came to be because?
I think we just didn't want to make it sound like it was done in our bedrooms, even though it was. You know, and
to be fair, yeah.
Phil did a really, really good job, because when I first heard his initial demos, I was like, wow, this sounds great. You're a really good producer. And he came from a sort of drum and bass electronic background, so he's like a really strong understanding of the fundamentals of audio engineering. But it was his first time working within metal. But
he is credited as guitar guy.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
You know, I don't know how long he was playing guitar for before he started. It must have been a good couple of years, I think.
I would expect so.
He's always been playing. I think he played drums for a while as well. I think me, Phil, and obviously Clark all have like a heavy background in drumming, which contributes to like the sort of like the rhythm and the groove of the album. But it was his first serious guitar project was this album. You know, he'd never worked in metal production or anything like that before. Obviously listened to a lot of metal music and knew how it sounded and how what sort of stuff he liked from the sound. Compared to his original demos to what ended up being the final album, it's like night and day. It's like such a huge like leap. It's like phenomenal.
Forward,
phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Phil-nominal.
It's phenomenal.
He literally deserves.
Also, I feel that one person needs to be credited as well because Lulu De La Rosa did the mastering as well. Yes. I would expect that also added to the stew, like getting that sound to a certain level. Congrats on that. I mean, I know you guys obviously already did multiple other releases, live things. You guys should check out the Bandcamp for Ihlo. You can check out all their releases there and all the things they've been doing. But for me, I mean, kind of a closing statement. We're nearing the end of this interview. I'm looking forward to see what the next album is going to be, because it's like this is obviously the first statement of intent, so to speak, and then it's interesting to see what the logical follow-up / evolution will be in that regard.
Remember when I said big things coming soon? that's what we've been doing, and it's only within the last year that like serious progress has been made.
We're joking about big things coming soon, but you've not necessarily been spamming that or whatever. Like, you've just been working on this, right, by yourself?
Yeah, it's been taking longer than we wanted to. There was so many aspects like after releasing Union that we had to like come to terms with, like what is it about our sound that we like? Can we capture that lightning in a bottle again? Because obviously like people really did enjoy the album.
Yeah they do.
Maybe you feel the same way, but we all suffered like a heavy sort of imposter syndrome.
Honestly, it's like just leveling with you on this. It's like when I first heard you guys, and this is like years ago, I really liked it, but I was also like this is coming from a guy like multiple solo albums in and whatnot. Is like the numbers you guys were doing immediately, and I know numbers are all relative at the end of the day, but it was like, holy shit, that's a lot of listeners and a lot of buys and doing really well. I don't think jealousy is very constructive in general. I do feel that you can be, envy is the positive version of being able to say, it's great that they're having this. There's a part of me that's like looking at 10K Spotify plays, for example. I'm like, yeah, we don't have 10K Spotify plays, or I don't have that with my solo project. So then by relativity on a bad day, we'd be like, okay, so my work sucks and their work does not suck because they have that many plays, you know, like that's the kind of thing. But what I've learned over time now is like I've talked to people who I consider to be really high up the ladder, you know, like 100K plays and a lot of CD sales and that kind of stuff. And then they would be like, yeah, I heard your TDW records and I really love them. And they would be like, then, but they also would be like, yeah, we feel the same way. Fuck numbers. Fuck that stuff. It's basically about like, what are you, what do you feel about your music? I can imagine that weirdly enough, the moments so many people latch onto your record, it's also like, oh fuck, now we have to deliver because they might expect something in a way.
It's the classic like follow-up thing, isn't it? You know, everybody, I think a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people struggle with it, and that's what we've been struggling with, but not anymore. Album 2 is happening, it's coming, hashtag soon, big things coming soon. It's almost there. I swear it's almost there. The amount of fucking times I've said it's almost there, but it is. It doesn't really sound like Union, but it's got all of the trademarks that we've spoken about in this video. It's got some space outs, it's got some heavy, it's got some ambient. It currently does have a concept running through it, but it's not going to be like there was a man and he had a gun and he shot someone. It's more vague still, like the first album, but there is definitely more focus on like
there's themes. More of a line through the words.
Yeah, definitely. And there is that in Union. It is very much with Union. It's like how you process communicating with others and dealing with your emotions and stuff. There is something in there for sure. I am older now than when I wrote that. And it's things that I know how to deal with. If you are listening to this album and you're thinking, wow, that sounds like me, go to fucking therapy. Just go to therapy, please.
Get help.
Get help. Like, there's nothing, like, it's fine. You're going to get through it. You just need a hug and a hot chocolate. No, but, like, it's not worth, like, getting too...
I feel that in general, it's like, there's a difference between acknowledging, okay, I'm sad or I'm going through something. There's nothing wrong with that. If one thing, I remember you actually kind of picked up on this, I think, when we were at PROGPOWER, because I was actually going through some pretty dark stuff last year. Like, last year was not a good year for me. And a part of that kind of caught up to me at PROGPOWER. And I remember there were a few people around me just simply checking in, like, are you all right? You know, and that kind of means the world already, because the kind of thing that you describe in Hollow, that's where I have been for years, especially when I just got my ostomy and all the stuff that I've been through. And it's like I really needed my period of mourning and actually being a sad boy before I could not be a sad boy. You know?
Yeah, you have to go through it. You have to deal with it in some way. As long as you're not being too self-destructive about it.
There's also a difference between acknowledging your sadness and wallowing in self-pity. Those are two very different things.
Yeah. That's like the fine line of like the lyrics on the album is like, sometimes I can interpret them as like trying to heal, sometimes like just stop. Come on, it's like fine.
You're doing to yourself.
Just tired. Just go to bed.
But here's some hot chocolate. Now shut the fuck up. That kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, that is definitely something that I would tell my younger me as well, I'm not gonna lie. So it's very recognizable. Anyway, Andy, thank you so much for your time and for this wonderful chat. I hope you guys at home who either watched or listened to this, that's also why I like doing this, because I got compliments from a few people that they've actually been listening to these YouTube videos while doing other stuff, which is perfect, because that's kind of what I want. I want people to just take in this info in a chill kind of vibe, and that's what we're doing here.
Excellent.
So yeah, exactly. So thank you all for listening, tuning in once again, and I have no idea who my next guest will be, but you will see that in 2 weeks on the next episode of Layers. Thank you all. Be safe, be healthy, and most of all, try to be happy, okay? Because it makes life a bit easier. See you guys later. Bye.